Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, I'm Aulia Cahya Kirani with student identification number 232122161, and I'm from class D. So, let's talk about phonetics and phonology. Sometimes we do not realize that our brain is not only just produced and arranged a sentence, but our brain is also produced it in accordance to a certain rules. The same thing with sounds. The sound is not only just got produced and arranged by itself. The arrangement of which one will comes first, which one the next, and so on, and those are governed by a rule. And the rules are phonetics and phonology. Phonetics. Phonetics is a science that deals with the sounds of human language. It is normally divided into three sub-branches, namely acoustic phonetics, the second one is auditory phonetics, and the last one is articulatory phonetics. Let's talk about the first sub-branches of phonetics. The acoustic phonetics is basically dealing with the study of physical properties of sounds and the form of sound waves that result the production of the sounds. And for example, when someone talks, the sound they produce making an airwaves that travel from speaker's mouth to hearer's ear. So basically, when someone speaks to us, there are some airwaves that we cannot see with bare eyes and coming through our ear so that we can understand, we can hear what they say. So by looking at the frequency of the vocal folds movement, people can measure the fluctuation of the pitch, and also people can measure the duration of sounds being produced. And these measurements are then pictured in spectrogram. Nowadays, acoustic phonetics has become increasingly important because the development of technology, and it is designed for speech analysis for the purpose of voice-initiated recognition. The second sub-branch is auditory phonetics. Auditory phonetics is dealing with how sounds perceived by our brains. As I just stated, when someone speaks, the sound they make, the sound they produce, create a sound waves or airwaves, and these sound waves can strike the listener's ear. Then they will send the sounds that they hear or catch to the brain for analysis determined. Let's move out to the example. If the sound takes less than 0.20 milliseconds to causing the vocal folds to vibrate, then it must be the sounds of a letter B. And if the voice onset time or VOT is between 0.40 until 0.60 milliseconds, then it must be the sounds of letter P. And the last branch of phonetics is articulatory phonetics. It also dealing with sounds of language, but what makes it different is it focuses on how sounds are produced, which means this branch of phonetics must handle the speech mechanism that is involved in sound production. In articulatory phonetics, we discuss things such as the roles and the function of our lungs, the passage through which the sounds flow, the parts of the mouth that play a role in the formation of sounds, and the ways the sounds are released. Let's head into phonology. Even though phonetics and phonology are both studying about sounds, but they basically different. If in phonetics, we deal with the formation, the production, and perception of sounds, in phonology, we talk about how the sounds are released and arranged when used in actual speech. In phonology, we also discuss the arrangements of sounds to form a syllable of a word. For instance, we have the sounds L and P. According to the rule of English sound arrangement known as phonotactics, these sounds can occur together at the end of the word, such as word help and scalp. And Indonesian also has the sound L and P, but if we look at the Indonesian phonotactics, we will see that L and P never occur together in one syllable or word. English doesn't witness the Indonesian words such as ngopi, ngantuk, ngomel, and other word that starts with letter N and G occur together at the first, or like that. And native English speakers find it really difficult to pronounce the three Indonesian words above. From the description that I have stated, we can see that phonology doesn't deal with how sounds are formed, produced, or perceived, but how they are arranged in relation to the other sounds. In other words, phonology studies the sound system of a language. Let's talk about sounds and letter. The noise that a human makes, a human produces when communicating with another person, with another human, is a sound. This sound is different from non-human sounds or from the sounds that an animal makes. The human combination of sounds brings about meanings, and the animal is not. The last one is phonemics. Phonemics in linguistics, smallest unit of speech, distinguishing one word or word element from another, as the element p or p in tap, which separates that word from tab, tag, and tan. A phoneme may have more than one variant, called an allophone. Phonemics are based on spoken language and may be recorded with special symbols, such as those of the International Phonetic Alphabet. The term phoneme is usually restricted to vowels and consonants, but some linguists extend its application to cover phonologically relevant differences of pitch, stress, and rhythm. So the conclusion is, phonetics and phonology are studying the same things, that is sounds, but they are actually different. Phonetics is studying about how sounds are produced, perceived, the formation of sounds, but in phonology, it's mostly talk about how sounds arranged in actual speech. And that is all for me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.